Fact. From 1620 to 1865, the bodies of African American men and women were enslaved in America. The year is now 2017, and the minds of these males and females are now enslaved. My name is Candace Owens, and you are watching my vlog series, The Myth of the Coon. In mid-2016, I escaped the Democrat Plantation of Thought, and I want to provide the rest of you guys at home watching with a guide how-to. Ready? The first thing you're going to need is internet access and a cell phone or computer. The second thing you're going to need is your brain. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to gather that second item since it seems to be low on stock these days. Every 4 years, the Democrats rally to get the African American vote, and we give it to them because, well, Republicans are racist, right? We usher them straight into the White House where they immediately forget about all of the promises that they made to us. Our blind allegiance to the Democratic Party stems from around the 1960s when Martin Luther King sat in a prison cell and then hopeful President John F. Kennedy made a phone call to his wife, Coretta Scott. He did everything he could to get Martin Luther King out of prison and would eventually introduce the Civil Rights Bill in 1963. End of story. That's it. Hang it up. I mean, obviously that is proof that the Democrats weren't racist. They were absolutely crucial in outlawing discrimination with this bill, and things were automatically desegregated. The end. Vote Democrat until you die, right? Wrong. You see, what that textbook doesn't tell you is that Democrats are actually the ones that imposed segregation, and they were the ones majorly against voting to desegregate our communities in both the 1950s and the 1960s. Oh, and those Klansmen that you guys are freaking out about, look under their hoods. They were all Democrats. Yes, Democrats were the ones that were lynching African American people. By 1900, 22 Black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress. The Democrats didn't elect a single one until 1935. Pop quiz! Do you guys know what the first movie that was ever screened at the White House was? Anybody? It was a movie entitled The Klansman, and it was screened by President Woodrow Wilson, also a Democrat. But the Civil Rights Act, Candace, come on, it doesn't matter. 2 Democratic presidents did that. They sure did. Oddly enough, that act was also followed by a string of protests in the North from African American people. Do you know why? Because it was basically smoke and mirrors. There was still police brutality, and it still allowed for discrimination in employment, meaning Black people still couldn't get jobs and make a living. Oh, but your textbooks say that everything was dandy after that, so hey, don't believe me. You see, the problem is that African Americans have not yet developed an apparatus to make Democrats make good on their promises once they are in the office. So instead, what do? We complain about it for 4 years, and then we get right back on the wheel. We are literally like hamsters on a wheel. Run, 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 run. That's funny. I thought I was going places. Run, 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 run. So weird. Run, 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 run. I don't understand. Stop the madness. Literal hamster mentality is what African Americans are suffering from each and every time they invest in a Democratic candidate. I mean, does no one want off the wheel? Maybe not. I had a hamster and he loved that freaking wheel. Rest in peace, Buster. Vote for us. We love Black people. Wait a second. Didn't you say that 4 years ago? Yeah, but you can't vote for the other guys. They're racist. The African American community is suffering from a poor memory with a healthy spoonful of indoctrination. I mean, from the time that we are in grade school, we are told Democrats, good, Republicans, bad, and we repeat that ad nauseum without ever stopping and just researching. Do you want to know why Democrats who own the media are working so tirelessly to tell you that if you ever vote against them, you are going to be waking up one day with Klansmen surrounding you? Because if they lost even 25% of the African American vote, they would be in deep trouble. All of their globalist efforts would die. Seriously. In fact, that's why they're working overtime to also marginalize other groups like transgender people and gay people. They are scaring everybody at every corner. The mission is simple, guys. Divide and conquer. Wake up. Read a book, and not one that was handed to you purposefully during your free education through to high school. Your education wasn't free. You paid for it with your mind. Your mind has been completely shackled by utter lies and a false reality. Remember that infamous Alabama Birmingham protest where Black people were being hosed and dogs were sent on them? Democrats sent those dogs and those hoses. Do you remember after Brown versus the BOE Supreme Court decision, when troops arrived to escort little girls into school in Arkansas? Dwight D. Eisenhower sent those troops, but don't mind that part because he was a Republican. Doesn't count. Coon, coon. Those are the comments that I received for just trying to get you guys to wake up and educate yourselves to leave the Democrat plantation. And do you really think I care? I mean, do you actually think that calling me a 4-letter word is going to make me come back to the plantation? You've lost your minds. Our current president has been accused of being a lot of things, anti-Semitic among them. Don't you find it interesting that there are no Jews lined up throwing yarmulkes at the White House or rioting like fools in the street? Do you want to know why that is? It's because they're educated, and they know for a fact that he is not anti-Semitic and he is no one to fear. But African Americans, we do all the dirty work for the Democrats. There's no word for an Uncle Tom in the Jewish community because they know that when one of their people makes it outside and actually sees reality, the rest of them better follow. So you can follow me or you can keep pulling the figurative cotton. I will not be offended either way. I mean, I was looking in the comments the other day and someone called me a bed wench. I don't even know what that is. It sounds really comfortable. If I wake up even just 5 Black people, I have done my job. Talking about launching a movement. Let those 5 then wake up another 5 until every person in the African American community understands what is going on, which is simply that the media has enslaved your minds. This is about power, not civil rights. Know the difference. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until later this week. Bye!